The concept of normal is a prison we should all escape from. Hey everyone, my name is Rushni. I'm a content creator, a special needs mom, a life coach for Black and West Indian women, and a Black woman healing. I create humor filled healing spaces so that other Black women can heal too. You're welcome. I had this thought yesterday, and so I decided to make a quick video about it because even though we all love to say normalize this and normalize that, and even I have made videos talking about normalize this and normalize that, it dawned on me the other day while having a conversation with a member in my Facebook group, Find Your Light Facebook group, free coaching Facebook group for Black women and West Indian women on a healing journey. Um, and we were talking about what is and isn't normal. And she said something along the lines of, we should normalize not normalizing things because we are all humans having a human experience. So that got me to thinking about whether or not normalizing things or considering things to be normal can be freeing because representation matters. And it's very powerful to see our experience reflected in other people. But also, it could become a container or a prison that we participate in being in because we are constantly getting the message that we have to conform to a standard or what is expected. Yes. And we all know that expectations are the ruin of us all. Okay. I'm not saying don't live a life without expectations. I've covered this in other videos. Aim in a direction, but release the outcome. Release yourself from the outcome because if you grip too hard on the outcome of your expectations, you will live a miserable life. Definitely influence, but you can't control. We have influence, we do not have control. Okay. So let's go back to normal. Does normal even exist? I feel like, and this is me just thinking aloud, but I wanted to share this because it might free you up on your healing journey. I feel like when people say normalize something, what they're saying is give it representation so that other people don't feel alone. And I definitely think that that is a powerful effort that we all can participate in. Many of us have felt immense amounts of freedom on this life journey by seeing ourselves reflected in the other with comparable and similar experiences. It just happens because there is a voice in the back of our heads asking, like, am I okay? Am I the only person having this experience, feeling this way about the thing? With this physicality, with this mental thing, with this, am I the only one? And there's nothing more powerful for humans to feel seen and heard and valued and to feel seen. And so when we say normalize a thing, I believe that that is what we are talking about. But here's what I want to say to you guys. I also feel like the concept of normal can be dangerous if we then try to force other people and ourselves into containers of expectation and conformity because it is impossible for all of us to be the same anything. And I think most of the damage that I observe in watching humans obliterate other humans is coming from this root of centering yourself as the norm and everyone else as therefore problematic and not normal. And there's so many places I could go with that, but I just wanted to share that with you. In a video I did a while back, I made a graphic, I'll try to pull it up, where I was talking about if you put yourself in the center and everyone else is therefore abnormal because you always see yourself as the norm, you are problematic. And the more healed and mature and divine, if I'm being honest, way to do it is to put human in the center or even God in the center, divine in the center. And we are all just expressions of that thing off the spoke, right? You are not the center. What do you mean by that, Rushni? I mean, if you are a white Christian man, if you are a heterosexual white Christian man, and you think I am the norm because society elevates you to the norm, then you are going to look at everyone who is not white and everyone who is not Christian and everyone who is not a man and everyone who is not heterosexual as abnormal. But if you, for example, put human in the center, then your whiteness is just a way of humaning. And listen, I know, social construct, I know we could debate that all day. That's not what this video is about. Okay, focus, focus. Okay. People don't have to be white to be normal. Whiteness is just off the spokes of human, right? People don't have to be male to be normal. People don't, right? If you are judging everything from a conformed blob in the center, you are part of the problem. Okay. If you look at it from a bell curve, for example, let's go science on these mugs. Okay. The bell curve, 50% in the center, there is still a very large grouping of humans within the 80% standard deviation that do not meet the center, right? There have been studies where they have based human characteristics, male and female human characteristics, off of the center of human characteristics, right? Measurements, et cetera, et cetera. And then they brought like a whole group of actual human beings in and tried to bump them up to see if any of those people were this made up normal human, and none of them were, because just 80% of us are in some vantage point that is not norm. So I almost agree with the lady who said it in my group about normalizing not being normal and how much freedom, one, we can offer to ourselves by showing up in the world more as ourselves every day and not always trying to conform to some perceived normalcy in one of the 8 billion labels and categories that humans are always trying to cram each other into, right? Exploring, becoming curious, and having the courage and bravery to show up as yourself every day, bit by bit, more by more, whether or not it is defined by others as normal, and what kinds of freedom we can offer to others if we start to realize that they are them and I am me, and all of it is us, and we get to be that. I am a woman that is 6'1". I am not considered typical or normal because women tend to be shorter. If I walked around considering myself to be abnormal, I can take on a lot of shame and just all sorts of negative things about my physicality. But this is me. I am created in a 6'1" body. I have been 6'1" since I was 19, 6 foot since I was 10. I am now 48 years old. 38 years, almost 40 years of being a 6 foot woman. And to me, this is normal because what is normal? Okay. And normal does not mean conforming. So when you show up as yourself and your goal is to be more of who you are divinely created to be, that is part of what healing is, returning to the you that you are designed to be, and not necessarily constantly trying to cram yourself into some imaginary perceived space called normal. Your face is normal for you. Your nose is normal for you. Your hair is normal for you. Your fingers, your toes, your mind, your creativity, your accomplishments, your experiences, your desires, where you want to live, the home you want to live in, the clothes you want to wear. Like imagine a world. I don't know if we can get here, you guys, but imagine a world where we let people be themselves and people were not immediately indoctrinated into some labels and containers out the freaking womb. And imagine how expansive and beautiful a world like that would be. And the irony of such a thing, or the beauty of such a thing, is that would finally be normal. Anyway, this was a weird video, but I woke up with it in my brain, had to get it off my chest. If how I'm talking sounds good to you and you want to have a little bit more conversation with me, work with me as your coach, I have a coaching membership, thepineapplecrowns.com. You can go out there and check if the membership is open, which it should be. You go ahead and join and you get an access to a growing library of coaching courses, videos and audios, downloadables that I'm adding to all the time, journal prompts. There's a reading list. We have monthly coaching calls and a private community for Black and West Indian women on a healing journey. You can find out what's available at thepineapplecrowns.com. And I am excited to see you. And until then, be well, be encouraged, you guys. Here's a pineapple. Listen, escape normal, okay? Bye.